The council chamber stretched before Ambassador Yunahan like a vast canyon of judgment. 47 species sat in their designated seats, arranged in a perfect circle around the center platform where she stood alone. The air hummed with translation devices, turning thousands of alien voices into a single terrible chorus. "The vote is called," declared the council speaker, a towering being of crystal and light. "All those in favor of Resolution 7743, the banishment of humanity from galactic space." Yuna watched as the display screens lit up. Green lights appeared one after another. The Valorum Dominion voted first, their representative's reptilian face twisted in satisfaction. The Ashir Collective followed, thousands of insectoid minds speaking as one. More green lights, more votes for banishment. 38 in favor, the speaker announced. 7 against, 2 abstentions. Resolution 7743 is approved. The chamber erupted in sound. Some species celebrated, others sat in stunned silence. Yuna felt her legs weaken, but she forced herself to remain standing. She would not give them the satisfaction of seeing her fall. 6 months earlier, everything had been different. Humanity had been part of the galactic community for 15 years. It was a short time compared to species that had been traveling the stars for thousands of years, but humans had made their mark quickly. Too quickly, perhaps. Human colonies spread across 12 systems. Human traders filled the markets. Human engineers improved old alien technology with fresh ideas. Human artists created works that puzzled and fascinated alien audiences. Everywhere humans went, they changed things. They asked questions that others had stopped asking long ago. They solved problems in ways no one had considered before. The other species watched and grew worried. These newcomers from a planet they called a death world were too adaptable, too aggressive, too unpredictable. The council decided something had to be done. The summons came on a cold morning. Admiral Dae-Won Kim stood in his office aboard the orbital station above Earth, reading the message 3 times to make sure he understood it correctly. The council was ordering humanity to undergo genetic modification. They wanted to reduce human aggression, increase cooperative instincts, and eliminate what they called death world contamination. "They want to change what we are," Dae-Won said to his staff. "They want to make us more like them." The debate on Earth lasted for weeks. Some argued they should accept. The galaxy was vast and humanity was small. Fighting would mean isolation or worse. Others refused to even consider it. Humanity had climbed from caves to the stars by being exactly what they were. Changing that would mean losing themselves. In the end, Earth's answer was unanimous. No, Dae-Won delivered the response himself, standing before the council just as Yuna did now. He was calm, his voice steady. "Humanity thanks the council for their concern," he said, "but we must decline. We will not alter our fundamental nature. We are what millions of years of evolution made us. We will remain that way." The Velarim representative Vel Tarkus rose from his seat. His scales gleamed under the chamber lights. "Then you choose to remain dangerous. You choose to threaten the peace of the galaxy. The council cannot allow this." "We threaten no one," Dae-Won replied. "We simply wish to exist as ourselves." "That is the threat," Vel Tarkus hissed. "You do not understand. Your species is flawed. You come from a world of death and violence. You carry that violence in your genes. If you will not allow us to correct this, then we must protect the galaxy from you." The council began preparing the banishment resolution that day. Humanity watched as their fate was debated across the galaxy. Some species spoke in their defense, arguing that diversity made the galaxy stronger, but fear won in the end. Fear of what humans might become if left unchanged. Now Yuna stood in the aftermath of that fear-made law. She looked up at Vel Tarkus, who watched her with cold satisfaction. "You have 90 days, he said. "All human colonies must withdraw to your home system. All humans currently in galactic space must return to Earth. After 90 days, we will activate the barrier." "The barrier?" Yuna asked, though she already knew. "A quantum field around your star system," Vel Tarkus explained. "It will prevent faster-than-light travel in or out. You will remain there until evolution corrects your flaws or extinction does. Either way, the galaxy will be safe." The 90 days passed like a nightmare. Human ships raced across the galaxy, trying to bring everyone home, but there were millions of humans scattered across dozens of worlds. Some were too far away. Others were trapped by local authorities who suddenly saw them as threats. When the deadline arrived, nearly 2 million humans remained stranded beyond Earth. Daewon stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the barrier activate. The view screens showed Earth's star system from the outside. Then, like a curtain falling, a shimmer of energy surrounded everything. The stars beyond became hazy, distant. "The quantum barrier was in place, sir," his communications officer said quietly. "We're receiving transmissions from the other side. Our people are begging for help." Daewon closed his eyes. He thought of his own daughter, who had been studying on a Corthan station when the crisis began. She was one of the millions now lost to them. "Record all transmissions," he said. "Every name, every face. We will remember them all." Veltarkus broadcast a final message to Earth. His face appeared on every screen in the Sol system. "You chose pride over wisdom," he said. "Now you will have time to reconsider. Perhaps in isolation you will evolve into something the galaxy can accept. Or perhaps you will simply fade away. Either outcome is acceptable to us." The transmission ended. Earth was alone. That night, Daewon sat in his quarters looking at a hologram of his daughter. She smiled in the frozen image, forever young, forever out of reach. He thought about Veltarkus's words. Evolution. Acceptable. Fade away. No, he said to the empty room. He reached for the console on his desk and entered a code. Deep in hidden facilities across the Sol system, lights began to activate. Scientists and engineers received encrypted messages. Military personnel reported to secret briefings. Ships that had been listed as decommissioned powered up in hidden asteroid bases. Project Retribution had begun. The galaxy thought it had caged humanity. Instead, it had given them time to become something new, something that would make the Council regret their decision. Daewon looked at his daughter's image one last time, then closed the hologram. "We're coming for you," he promised. "All of you. And when we do, the galaxy will learn what humans become when you take everything from them." Outside his window, Earth turned silently in the darkness, cut off from the stars but not defeated. Never defeated. 1 year had passed since the barrier fell. The galaxy had moved on, as galaxies do. News reports about humanity stopped appearing. Trade routes that once passed near Sol system were redirected. The Council focused on other matters. Earth had become a footnote, a warning story that parents told their young. "And that's what happens when you refuse to cooperate," they would say. The humans thought they were special. Now they're trapped forever in their little prison, slowly dying out. No signals came from Earth. No transmissions. No desperate pleas for mercy. The quantum barrier was perfect, blocking all faster-than-light communication. As far as the galaxy could tell, humanity had gone silent. Most assumed they were already dead or dying. Veltarkus was pleased. He stood in his command center on the Valorum homeworld, reviewing reports. "Any activity from the Sol barrier?" he asked his sensor officer. "None, Commander. The barrier remains stable. No attempts to breach it. No signals detected." "Good," Veltarkus said. "File it under closed matters. The human problem has resolved itself." But behind the barrier, something very different was happening. Far from dying, humanity was burning with focused rage. Every resource, every mind, every moment was dedicated to a single purpose: breaking free. Dr. Sung Park stood in his laboratory, surrounded by screens full of equations. He was 45 years old but looked older now, his hair gray from stress and endless work. He barely slept. None of them did. There was too much to do and not enough time. "Show me the simulation again," he told his team. The holographic display activated, showing a representation of the quantum barrier. It looked simple in the display, just a shimmering wall of energy, but Sung knew how complex it really was. The barrier existed in multiple dimensions at once, folding space-time in ways that made faster-than-light travel impossible. "It's beautiful, really," Sung said, studying it. "An elegant solution to a difficult problem. Too bad we're going to tear it apart." He had been studying the barrier for months, using sensors placed at various points around the Sol system. The Council had assumed humans would rage against their prison, throwing themselves at the walls until they exhausted themselves. Instead, humanity had done what they always did. They learned. "The barrier isn't actually solid," Sung explained to Admiral Daewon during a briefing. "It's more like a net made of quantum threads. The threads cross and overlap at specific points. If we can find those points and collapse them simultaneously, the whole structure should fall apart." "Should?" Daewon asked. "Will," Sung corrected with a tired smile. It will fall apart. I've run the math 1,000 times. This works? While Sung worked on the barrier, other projects moved forward. In hidden construction yards inside asteroid fields, ships were being built. These were not the vessels humanity had designed when they first joined the galaxy. Those ships had been built to fit in, to meet galactic standards. These new ships were built for one purpose: war. Captain Hana Lee walked through the hangar of the newly completed warship Retribution. The ship was massive, larger than anything humanity had built before. Its hull was dark, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Weapons bristled from every surface. She's beautiful, Hana said to the chief engineer beside her. How many do we have? 37 capital ships completed, Engineer Taemin Shin replied. Another 60 in final construction, plus 300 smaller vessels. Hana ran her hand along the hull. The council gave us a year alone. They thought we'd break. Instead, we built an armada. Taemin led her to the weapons bay. Let me show you something special, he said. He activated a display showing a new type of plasma cannon. We call it Sunfire. Galactic standard plasma burns at about 10 million degrees. This burns at 100 million. How? Hana asked. By not following galactic standards, Taemin grinned. They build their weapons safely with limiters and controls. We removed all that. This weapon will probably destroy itself after 100 shots, but for those 100 shots, nothing in the galaxy can stand against it. In another facility, Commander Junho Choi trained his special operations teams. These soldiers were not meant for ship-to-ship combat. They were meant for infiltration, sabotage, and assassination. They practiced moving in zero gravity, cracking alien security systems, and fighting in environments that would kill most humans. Remember, Junho told his troops, most galactic species have never fought a real war. They've had peace for centuries. They've forgotten what violence looks like. We're going to remind them. The soldiers were silent, focused. Many had lost family when the barrier went up. They trained not just for Earth, but for the millions of humans still trapped on the other side, waiting for rescue. Lieutenant Sua Kang climbed into the cockpit of her fighter. At 29, she was the youngest ace in the fleet, with skills that impressed even veteran pilots. Her fighter was small, fast, and nearly invisible to most sensors. They called it a Wraith, and it was humanity's answer to the galaxy's numerical advantage. If they have 1,000 ships, Admiral Daewon had said, we need each of our ships to be worth 10 of theirs. Speed, stealth, and surprise will be our weapons. Sua powered up her fighter, feeling it respond to her touch like a living thing. The cockpit displays came alive with information, target tracking, weapons status, enemy scan detection. Everything was new, designed from scratch in the past year. Wraith 1 to control, she said into her comm. Ready for test flight. Control to Wraith 1, came the response. You're clear. Show us what she can do. Sua pushed the throttle forward and shot out of the hangar. The Wraith accelerated faster than any fighter she had flown before. She wove between asteroids, testing the maneuverability. Perfect. She activated the stealth systems and watched her sensor signature vanish. Even Earth's own tracking systems lost her. Control, do you have me? She asked. Negative, Wraith 1, you just disappeared. That's incredible. Sua smiled inside her helmet. The galaxy would not know what hit them. Finally, the day came. Dr. Sung Park sent the message everyone had been waiting for. The barrier is falling. Prepare for breach. Admiral Daewon sat in his command chair on the bridge of his flagship. Around him, his crew worked with calm efficiency. They had trained for this moment, planned every detail. Now it was time. All ships report ready, his communications officer said. Daewon took a deep breath. He thought of his daughter somewhere beyond the barrier. He thought of all the humans who had been abandoned, left behind, forgotten. He thought of Vel Tarkus's smug face declaring humanity's sentence. Dr. Park, Daewon said into the comm, bring down the barrier. Across the Sol system, quantum collapse devices activated simultaneously. They had been placed at exactly calculated points, timed to fire in perfect synchronization. The effect was instantaneous. The quantum barrier, which had seemed so solid and permanent, shattered like glass. Sensors across the galaxy detected the collapse. Automated systems flagged it as an anomaly. A few species noticed and wondered what it meant. But it would take time for the information to reach the Council, time for them to understand what had happened. By then, it would be too late. The fleet moved forward, streaming out of Sol system like sharks scenting blood. The ships were dark, fast, and deadly. Their crews were angry, determined, and ready for war. On the bridge of Retribution, Captain Hana Lee watched the stars spread before her. Real stars, not the hazy, distant lights they had seen through the barrier. She smiled coldly. "Helm," she ordered, "set course for the Kessler system. Maximum speed. It's time the Council learned what happens when you cage a predator." Behind the fleet, Earth receded into the distance. The planet looked small and peaceful in the darkness. But appearances were deceiving. Earth was no longer a prison. It was a fortress, a factory, and a promise. The galaxy had banished humanity, thinking they would fade away quietly. Instead, humanity had used their isolation to become something the Council had never imagined. They had become what they needed to be, and now they were coming home. The Kessler listening post drifted in the darkness between stars. A station built to monitor the approaches to Valorum space. 300 soldiers staffed it, rotating shifts in comfortable routine. They had been there for years without seeing any real action. It was a boring assignment, which was why most of them had volunteered for it. On this particular night shift, Sensor Officer Krell 5 noticed something strange. A flicker on his display, there and gone in an instant. He frowned at it, ran a diagnostic, and found nothing. Equipment malfunction, probably. He made a note in the log and returned to his game of tactical chess. He never saw the 6 figures approaching the station from the shadow side. Commander Junho Choi and his team moved in absolute silence, their suits designed to absorb every sensor type the station possessed. They carried no metal that could be detected magnetically. They generated no heat signature. They were ghosts. Junho gestured to his team. 2 soldiers moved to the docking port while the others covered them. Within minutes, they had overridden the airlock security using codes provided by Ambassador Yuna Han, who had spent the past year gathering intelligence from her position still hiding in the galaxy. The team slipped inside. "Remember the plan," Junho whispered over the comm. "Disable the shields first, no alarms. No survivors." The words were cold but necessary. This was not a raid for prisoners or information. This was a message. The team split up, moving through the station corridors like shadows. Valorum soldiers passed within meters of them unaware. The special operations teams had been trained for exactly this, moving through enemy territory unseen, striking when least expected. The shield generator was deep in the station core. Yuno's team reached it without incident. One of his soldiers, a tech specialist named Private Isil Nam, went to work on the control panel. 2 minutes, Isil whispered. Those 2 minutes felt like hours. Junho watched the corridor, his weapon ready. Every sound made him tense. But the Valorum were not expecting trouble. Why would they? Humanity was trapped behind a quantum barrier, slowly dying. That's what everyone believed. "Done," Isil said softly. "Shields are offline. They won't know until they try to activate them." "Good work," Junho replied. "Everyone, extraction point. Move!" They were back in their small ship and clear of the station within 5 minutes. As they pulled away into the darkness, Junho activated his long-range transmitter. "Package delivered," he said simply. 50,000 kilometers away, Captain Hana Lee received the signal. She sat in the command chair of Retribution, surrounded by her battle group of 8 ships. They had been waiting in stealth mode for this exact message. "All ships," Hana said calmly. "Weapons hot. Prepare to engage." The fleet powered up. Their engines ignited, burning bright in the darkness. They accelerated toward the station, no longer hiding. Now they wanted to be seen. On Kessler Station, alarms finally began to scream. Krell 5 stared at his display in disbelief as 8 unknown ships appeared on sensors, closing fast. "Alert! Alert!" he shouted into the station-wide comm. "Unknown vessels approaching. Activating shields." Nothing happened. The shield system showed offline. Krell 5's heart sank. "They were defenseless. All weapons, fire!" The station commander ordered desperately. The station's plasma cannons opened up, sending bursts of energy toward the approaching ships. It was standard galactic weaponry, designed to disable rather than destroy. The bolt struck Retribution's hull and dissipated harmlessly against its armor. "Is that it?" Hana asked, amused. "Return fire. Sunfire weapons. Full power." The cannons on Retribution glowed white-hot. When they fired, the beams that shot from them were like pieces of captured stars. They struck the station's hull and burned through it like paper. Metal vaporized instantly. Atmosphere vented into space. Entire sections of the station simply ceased to exist. Target their weapon systems, Hana ordered. Leave the communications intact. I want them to see this. I want them to send the message. Lieutenant Sua Kang led her wing of Wraith fighters against the station's defensive interceptors. The Velarim pilots scrambled to launch, confused and panicked. They had trained for combat, but not like this. Sua's fighter darted between the slower alien ships like a hawk among pigeons. Her weapons were precise, lethal. She targeted engines and cockpits, destroying ships in single shots. The Valorum returned fire, but their weapons barely scratched her fighter's armor. This is too easy, she muttered. Control, the enemy fighters are no threat. Should I hold back? Negative, Wraith 1, came Hana's voice. No mercy. This is a message. Sua understood. She switched to automatic targeting and let the fighter's computer track multiple enemies at once. Her weapons fired in rapid sequence. 5 Velarim fighters died in as many seconds. The rest tried to flee, but the Wraiths were faster. None escaped. The battle lasted exactly 47 minutes. When it ended, Kessler Station was a burning wreck. Half of it was simply gone, vaporized by the sunfire weapons. The rest was twisted metal and corpses. Only the communications section remained intact, exactly as Hana had ordered. She activated the long-range transmitter herself. The message would reach every Council species within hours. This is Captain Hana Lee of the Earth vessel Retribution, she said, her voice cold and clear. You banished us. You imprisoned us. You thought we would die quietly. You were wrong. This station was the first target. It will not be the last. We are coming for our people, the ones you abandoned. Stand in our way and you will burn. This is our answer. The transmission ended. Hana looked at the burning station on her display, feeling nothing but grim satisfaction. All ships returned to base. Mission accomplished. On the Valorum homeworld, Veltarkus watched the transmission of his destroyed station with growing horror. The images showed human ships, human weapons, human pilots. But that was impossible. They were behind the barrier. They were trapped. Check the Sol barrier immediately, he ordered. The report came back within minutes. The barrier was gone, completely destroyed. The sensor data showed it had collapsed 12 hours ago. But the automated systems had flagged it as a minor anomaly. No one had investigated. Veltarkus felt cold fear in his stomach. 12 hours. The humans had been free for 12 hours, and they had spent that time preparing to strike. They had not wasted time on negotiations or demands. They had simply attacked. Summon the council, he said quietly. Emergency session. Now! The council chamber filled with confused and frightened representatives. Many species had never experienced war. Others had not fought in centuries. The idea of actual violence, of ships destroyed and soldiers killed, seemed impossible in their peaceful galaxy. Ambassador Yuna Han appeared on the main display. She had been hiding in plain sight for a year, pretending to be stranded while secretly gathering intelligence for Earth. Now she revealed herself. Humanity has a simple list of demands, she said, her voice echoing through the chamber. Return all stranded humans to Earth territory. Issue a formal apology for the banishment. Grant humanity full sovereignty with no genetic requirements. You have 72 hours to comply, or what? Demanded the Ashir collective representative, its voice a chorus of clicking mandibles. Yuna smiled coldly. Or we burn you out of the galaxy system by system until there's nothing left but ash and regret. The chamber erupted in panic. Some species called for immediate military response. Others urged negotiation. The Korthan representative, crystalline and neutral, simply observed in silence. Veltarkus rose to his feet. The council must refuse these terrorist demands, he declared. We cannot allow violence to be rewarded. I move that we authorize full military response. The Valorum Dominion will lead a fleet to crush this human uprising permanently. The vote was close, but fear won over wisdom. The military response was authorized. Veltarkus smiled in savage satisfaction. He would show these humans what happened when you challenged a superior species. Admiral Daewon Kim received the council's response aboard his flagship. He read it once, then deleted it. They refused. He told his senior officers. They've authorized military action against us. Your orders, sir? Asked his tactical officer. Daewon looked at the star map, showing 3 systems close to Earth where humans were still stranded. Refugee camps full of his people waiting for rescue, waiting for hope. We strike all three systems simultaneously, he ordered. Maximum force. Show the Council that we're not making requests. We're making promises, and we keep our promises. The fleet split into 3 battle groups. Captain Hannah Lee took one. Captain Minho Bay took another. Day 1 led the third personally. They moved out within the hour, leaving Earth behind once more. As his ship entered faster-than-light travel, Day 1 thought about Vel Tarkis's declaration. Superior species. The Velarum truly believed that. They believed their age and their technology made them better than humanity. They're about to learn differently, Day 1 said softly. They wanted to see what we'd become. Let's show them. Behind him, Earth continued its preparations. Factories worked around the clock. More ships launched every day. More soldiers trained. More weapons were built. The galaxy had given humanity a year to prepare. Now they would see what that year had bought them. Fire and fury. That's what it had bought them. And the galaxy was about to burn. 6 weeks had passed since the first strike. The galaxy was burning and everyone knew it. Human ships appeared without warning, struck with overwhelming force and vanished before reinforcements could arrive. 23 systems had been hit. Refugee camps had been emptied, their human occupants rescued and returned to Earth. Supply depots had been destroyed. Military stations had been reduced to debris. The galactic news networks could not stop talking about it. They called humanity the Burning Plague and the Ghost Fleet. Some species demanded the Council negotiate. Others called for total war. Everyone was afraid. Vel Tarkis watched the casualty reports with growing rage. The Velorum Dominion had lost 40% of its border fleet. 40%! His species had been a military power for 3,000 years, and these primitives from Earth were destroying his forces like they were nothing. How? He demanded of his military advisors. How are they doing this? They fight like no one we've ever faced, his chief tactical officer explained. They don't follow standard engagement protocols. They use terrain we ignore. They exploit weaknesses we didn't know existed. And their weapons. Commander, their weapons are beyond anything we understand. They had 1 year, Vel Tarkis shouted. 1 year behind a barrier with no resources from the rest of the galaxy. How did they build such weapons? No one had an answer. The truth was simple but hard to accept. Humanity had built their war machine from scratch, using nothing but what existed in their own solar system. They had mined asteroids, harvested gas giants, and pushed their technology beyond safe limits. They had sacrificed comfort, safety, and peace to build tools of war, and it had worked. In the Helios Ridge system, Captain Hannah Lee faced her greatest challenge yet. Intelligence reported a Velarim armada waiting for her. 43 heavy cruisers, 27 destroyers, and over 100 support vessels. It was 3 times the size of her fleet. They're learning, her tactical officer said. They're not spreading out anymore. They're concentrating their forces. Hannah studied the display. The enemy fleet was positioned in open space, where their numerical advantage would matter most. A direct engagement would be suicide, so she would not engage directly. Helm, set course for the asteroid field, she ordered. Flank speed, sir? Her first officer questioned. That field is dense. Navigation will be difficult. For us, yes, Hannah smiled. For them, impossible. They're too big, too slow, and too used to fighting in clear space. But we learned to fly among asteroids back home. This is our territory now. The human fleet dove into the asteroid field. Huge rocks tumbled through space, some as large as cities. The human ships wove between them with practiced ease. Their smaller size and superior maneuverability, letting them navigate where the Velarum vessels could not safely follow. But Vel Tarkis's commander, Admiral Treshvar, was not a fool. He ordered his fleet to surround the asteroid field and wait. They must come out eventually, he declared. When they do, we will destroy them. Hannah had anticipated this. All ships activate mining charges. The human fleet had brought specialized weapons designed for asteroid mining, shaped explosive charges that could split rock with precision. Now they used those charges for a different purpose. They planted them on asteroids throughout the field, targeting specific rocks with specific trajectories. Charges armed, her weapons officer reported. Ready on your mark. Detonate, Hannah ordered. The explosions rippled through the asteroid field. Rocks that had been drifting slowly suddenly accelerated, pushed by the blasts into new trajectories. Hannah had calculated everything perfectly. The asteroids became projectiles hurtling toward the Velarim fleet at tremendous speed. Treshvar realized the danger too late. "Evasive maneuvers," he screamed. But capital ships do not turn quickly. The asteroid slammed into the Velarim vessels with the force of nuclear weapons. Shields flared and failed. Hulls buckled. Ships broke apart. In the chaos, the human fleet emerged from the field, weapons firing. Sua Kang led her Wraith fighters in a lightning strike on the command ship. Her weapons targeted the bridge specifically. One precise shot and Treshvar's ship went dark, its command structure destroyed. The Valorum fleet fell into confusion, each captain trying to take command, none succeeding. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, the Valorum had lost 67 ships. The humans lost 9. Hana looked at the casualty list, memorizing every name of the fallen. They had won, but victory tasted bitter when measured in the lives it cost. "Return to base," she ordered quietly. "Send the casualty reports to Admiral Kim. He'll want to write the letters personally." Far from the battle, Commander Junho Choi crouched in the darkness of an Ashir breeding world. His mission was reconnaissance, but what he found disturbed him. The Ashir Collective was building something new, warforms specifically designed to fight humans. These were not the standard Ashir drones. They were larger, stronger, with enhanced reflexes and armor-plated carapaces. Junho watched through his scope as thousands of them emerged from genetic vats, fully grown and ready for battle. "Control, this is Shadow Team," he transmitted. Target confirmed. "The Ashir are building an army. Estimated numbers in the millions." Back on Earth, Dr. Sung Park received the intelligence with concern. He ran simulations, calculating what those numbers could mean in battle. The results were not good. Even with humanity's technological advantages, millions of specialized warforms could overwhelm them through sheer numbers. "We could solve this," his assistant said quietly. He pulled up a file marked classified. "The bioweapon. It targets the Ashir genetic markers specifically. It would kill the warforms before they're ever deployed." Sung looked at the data. The weapon was elegant, efficient, and horrifying. It would spread through the Ashir population like wildfire, killing indiscriminately. It would work. It would save human lives. "No," Sung said finally. "Delete the file. We're not using it." "But sir, we're fighting because they tried to change what we are," Sung said firmly. "Because they feared what we might become. If we use weapons like this, we prove them right. We become the monsters they imagined. Delete it." Admiral Daewon Kim supported the decision when informed. "We fight with honor," he told his senior staff. "We fight hard, but we fight clean. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's what separates us from them." Lieutenant Sua Kang learned this lesson the hard way. During a raid on a supply depot, her fighter took damage from a lucky hit. She managed to crash land on an uninhabited moon, but her ship was destroyed. She was stranded alone with limited supplies. For 3 days, she survived on emergency rations and hoped for rescue. On the 4th day, a ship appeared. But it was not human. It was Korthan. Sua reached for her weapon, ready to fight or die, but the Korthan captain raised his crystalline hands in peace. "We are not your enemy," he said in perfect English. "We watched your crash. We came to help." "Why?" Sua asked suspiciously. "Your people voted to abstain. You're neutral." "We abstained because we disagreed with both sides," the captain explained. "But now we see who you truly are. You fight for your people. You fight with courage. The galaxy has grown soft under the Council's rule. You remind us what strength looks like. Please allow us to return you to your fleet." The Korthan took her to a rendezvous point where a human ship retrieved her. But more importantly, they opened negotiations with Earth. Within a week, the Korthan Union formally broke from the Council and offered an alliance to humanity. "We will not fight for you," their ambassador explained to Admiral Daewon, "but we will trade with you. We will share intelligence, and we will offer safe harbor to your ships." It was the first crack in the Council's unity. Others followed. 7 species total broke away, refusing to continue the war against humanity. They did not all become allies, but they withdrew their support from the Valorum-led coalition. Veltarkus watched his alliance crumble with desperation. Every week brought new defeats, new defections, new humiliations. The humans were winning, not just militarily but politically. They were proving to the galaxy that the Council had made a terrible mistake. He called an emergency meeting with his remaining allies. The Ashir Collective, the Draxan Empire, and a handful of others. Species that still believed humanity must be stopped. We are losing, Veltarkis admitted. The humans are too strong, too adaptable. We cannot defeat them through conventional warfare. Then what do you propose? Asked the Ashir hive mind. Veltarkis pulled up a classified file. Project Starkiller, a Nova bomb capable of destroying an entire star system. It was a weapon the Council had forbidden centuries ago, deemed too terrible to ever use. We destroy Earth itself, Veltarkis said coldly. Without their homeworld, the humans will have no base, no production, no home to return to. They will scatter and die. That's genocide, whispered the Draxan representative. That's survival, Veltarkis replied. They are winning. Soon they will dictate terms to us. This is our last chance to end them before they end us. The vote was taken. Those who remained in the alliance were too afraid to say no. The Starkiller project was approved. A ship was dispatched in secret carrying the Nova bomb toward Earth. Its mission was simple: destroy the sun and everyone around it. No one told the Council. No one told the other species. It was murder dressed as military necessity. Ambassador Yunahan sat in a quiet cafe on a Korthan station, reviewing intelligence reports. For over a year she had lived in the shadows, gathering information while pretending to be just another stranded human. Now that Earth had revealed itself, her work had become even more important. She was reading through financial transactions when something caught her eye: a massive energy purchase by a Velarim military contractor. Enough power cells to run a small city. But the destination was listed as classified research. Yuna's instincts screamed warning. She dug deeper. Using contacts she had built over months of careful networking, one contact led to another. A cargo manifest here, a personnel transfer there. Slowly, a picture formed, and what she saw made her blood run cold. Project Starkiller, a Nova bomb, already deployed and heading toward Earth. She immediately sent an encrypted transmission to Admiral Daewon Kim. The message was simple but devastating. They're going to destroy the sun. Bomb already en route. Estimate arrival in 4 days. Daewon received the message while planning an assault on a Velarim supply base. He read it twice, making sure he understood. Then he gathered his senior officers. We have a problem, he said quietly, and told them everything. The room fell silent. Captain Hanali spoke first. How fast can we get the fleet back to Earth? Not fast enough, Daewon said. Most of our ships are deployed across 3 sectors. Even at maximum speed, it would take a week to recall everyone. Then we split the fleet, Hana said. I'll take a fast strike force to intercept the bomb. You keep pressure on Velarim Prime with the remaining ships. That's suicide, someone objected. You'll be outnumbered 10-1. So? Hana replied coldly. Earth is worth it. Our families are worth it. If we lose Earth, we lose everything. I'm going. Daewon looked at her for a long moment. She was volunteering for a mission that would almost certainly kill her. But she was right. Earth could not fall. Take Retribution and whatever ships can reach you fastest, he ordered. Go intercept that bomb. The rest of the fleet comes with me to Velarim Prime. Hana left immediately. She took 8 ships total, all that could reach her position and still intercept the bomb in time. It was a small force, but it would have to be enough. On Earth, people continued their daily lives, unaware of the weapon racing toward them. Engineer Taemin Shin worked in his laboratory, developing new weapon systems. Dr. Sung Park taught classes to the next generation of scientists. Millions of people lived, worked, loved, and dreamed under a sun that might soon kill them all. Hana's task force pushed their engines beyond safe limits, racing to reach the bomb ship before it entered the Sol system. Her sensor officer finally detected it, a single vessel, heavily armed, moving at maximum speed toward Earth. Time to intercept? Hana asked. 4 minutes after it enters the system, came the reply. It'll be close, 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, the bomb ship could deploy its weapon and trigger it. 4 minutes was not enough time, unless someone could slow it down. Lieutenant Sua Kang sat in her Wraith fighter listening to the briefing. She knew what needed to happen. Someone had to get ahead of the fleet, intercept the bomb ship early and damage it enough to slow it down. It was a suicide mission. The bomb ship had escorts and one fighter would not survive against them. I'll do it, Sua said calmly. My fighter is fastest. I can get there first. You won't make it back, Hana said quietly. I know, Sua replied. But Earth will. That's what matters. Hana wanted to refuse, to find another way, but there was no other way. She looked at this young pilot, 29 years old, volunteering to die for her world. "Thank you," Hana said, and meant it with everything she had. Su'a launched immediately. Her Wraith fighter shot ahead of the fleet, pushing its engine to the absolute limit. She thought about her family on Earth, her parents, her sister, her friends. All of them safe because she would not let this bomb reach them. The bomb ship appeared on her sensors. It was exactly where intelligence said it would be, protected by 6 escort fighters. Su'a armed all her weapons. She would only get one pass at this. "Control," she transmitted back to Retribution. "Beginning attack run. If this works, tell my family I love them." She did not wait for a reply. She activated her stealth systems and dove toward the bomb ship. The escorts did not see her until she was already among them. Her weapons fired in rapid sequence, destroying 2 escorts instantly. The others scattered, trying to locate her. Su'a ignored them. She locked onto the bomb ship's engine section and fired her remaining missiles. They struck true, ripping into the ship's propulsion systems. The bomb ship shuddered, its speed dropping immediately. Then the escorts found her. Energy bolts slammed into her fighter from 3 directions. Shields failed. Armor burned. Warning alarms screamed in her cockpit. But Su'a was already ejecting, her fighter exploding behind her as she shot clear in her escape pod. Back on Retribution, Engineer Taemin Shin burst into the bridge. "Captain, I have an idea. The bomb is designed to be deployed and triggered remotely, right?" "Yes," Hana confirmed. "Why?" "Because I've been working on quantum hacking protocols," Taemin said quickly. "If we can get close enough, I might be able to access the bomb's control systems and trigger a remote detonation, away from Earth." "Might?" Hana asked. 70% chance, Taemin admitted. "But it's better than trying to disable a Nova bomb by shooting it." Hana made the decision instantly. "Do it, we'll get you close." The fleet arrived 4 minutes later. The damaged bomb ship was trying to reach the Sol system, but Su'a's attack had slowed it enough. Hana's ship surrounded it, weapons locked. "Surrender the bomb," Hana transmitted. Final warning, the Velarim captain refused. His orders were clear. Destroy Earth or die trying. He activated the bomb's deployment sequence. Taemin worked frantically at his station, his hands flying over controls. He found the bomb's systems, penetrated the security, and reached the detonation controls. But there was a failsafe. The bomb required command authorization to detonate remotely. "I need the Valorum captain's authorization code," Taemin said desperately. "I don't have it," Hana replied. "Can you bypass it?" "Not in time. The bomb is already deploying. 90 seconds until it reaches activation range of the sun." Hana looked at the display. Earth was right there, so close. She could see it on her screens, beautiful in blue. Home. She had promised to protect it. She had promised. "Su'a," she transmitted to the rescue team recovering the escape pod. "Is she alive?" "Yes, Captain. Badly injured but stable. At least she had saved one pilot today. At least Su'a would survive to see Earth continue. But Hana herself might not. None of them might. Then salvation came from an unexpected source. A Korthan vessel appeared, transmitting on emergency frequencies. "Human ships, we have intelligence. The authorization code, received from a Velarim defector who opposes the genocide. Code transmitting now." The data package arrived. Taemin entered it with shaking hands. The bomb systems accepted the code. He now had full control. "Got it," Taemin shouted. "Triggering remote detonation in clear space." The bomb detonated 3 million kilometers from Earth, far enough that the planet felt only a warm pulse of radiation. The explosion was visible from the ground, a brief new star in the sky. Then it faded and Earth remained. On the bridge of Retribution, the crew erupted in cheers. They had done it. Earth was saved. Hana closed her eyes in relief, allowing herself one moment of emotion before returning to her duty. "Thank you," she transmitted to the Korthan vessel. "You saved billions of lives today." "We saved the galaxy," the Korthan captain replied. "What the Valorum attempted was evil. We could not stand by." While Hana saved Earth, Admiral Daewon Kim arrived at Velarim Prime with the remainder of the fleet. He could have destroyed the planet. His weapons could have burned their cities, killed their civilians, done to them exactly what they had tried to do to Earth. Instead, he transmitted a message to every screen on the planet. His face appeared in homes, in public spaces, in government buildings. Billions of Velarim saw him. "I am Admiral Daewon Kim of Earth," he said calmly. Your leader, Veltarkus, attempted to commit genocide against my people. He sent a bomb to destroy our world. He failed. That bomb has been destroyed. Earth is safe. He paused, letting that sink in. I want you to understand something. My ships surround your planet. My weapons can reach your cities. I could do to you what you tried to do to us. I could burn your world and everyone on it. Panic spread across Valorum Prime. People fled into bunkers. Soldiers rushed to defensive positions. Everyone waited for the attack. But I won't, Day One continued. Because we are better than you believed. We are better than your fears. We fight for our people, for our freedom, for our right to exist as we are. But we are not monsters. We are not genocidal. We are human. He leaned forward, his eyes hard. Veltarkus will stand trial for his crimes. Your government will surrender immediately. The war ends now. These are not requests. These are facts. Comply, or I will be forced to demonstrate the difference between mercy and weakness. Within an hour, Veltarkus was arrested by his own people and turned over to Earth forces. The Valorum government surrendered unconditionally. The other species in the anti-human alliance collapsed without their leadership.